What are we doing?
Dude, I don't know.
You need a hug? All right, let's do it.
So I was doing some research,
It's like therapy for us. You're just easing into not having much time on your hands.
and I'm stoked for the journey. What's up, everybody? My name is Brian Boyd.
Me llamo Zach. Hola.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Si.
And we are two dads on a mic.
Yes, we are.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing, man. What's up with you?
Nada mucho. I'm wearing my North Face shirt today.
I like Nada Mucho.
Nada mucho.
I like that.
Yeah, not much, man. Nada mucho.
That's got a good ring to it.
Yeah. I'm going camping in a couple, like this week.
Dude, you're
going camping,
excited
man.
in the new trailer.
So excited, man. We have not gone camping for an extended period of time for like 6-7 years. And that was like that's our thing.
You made a good investment getting that.
Oh, I'm stoked.
Like,
It's a silly thing, but it's awesome.
it's, I think, one of the best investments you've made.
I'm going to double my money on it when I want to sell it and buy something better.
But you're gonna quadruple times a billion the life experiences you're gonna have.
That's true.
Like that's the investment you made,
That's true.
not the money value.
That's,
It's the experience value.
oh, man. I love you, Zach.
I know, dude.
So, what's up, everybody? A little housekeeping before we jump into the episode. But we are going to touch on why did we become parents?
Yes, that's the episode today. Why did we become parents? I have no idea.
And why did you become a parent? If you are a parent, or
Why are
if you
you
want
thinking?
to become a parent.
Yeah, why are you thinking about it?
Yeah. Ooh. It's funny that we've been doing this for, 5-6 months, and we've never asked that question. Why
No.
did we even do this? Why did
No.
we become parents? That's the whole reason we're doing this.
Yeah, true.
Yeesh.
I don't know.
But before we jump into that, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right? That's where you can see our lovely faces, our amazing posts. And if you want to watch us, that's the YouTube platform at Two Dads on a Mic. And if you just like hearing our amazing voices and you don't want to see our ugly faces, well, then there's platforms for that as well. And that's called the podcast platform. And that would be Anchor. That would be Spotify. That would be iTunes and so many other places.
That's a good t-shirt right there, too. If you don't want to see our ugly faces and like our voices, subscribe. You know, I like that.
You like that?
That's good. That's good.
So today we are going to jump into the topic of why did we become parents? So let's start.
Where do we start?
Right?
I don't even know.
I know.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
do know.
Go ahead. Why did you become a parent?
Because Molly wanted to become a parent.
Okay, that's where it started.
Right.
Yes.
Which is, so here's the deal, right? So my relationship with my wife, when I married Molly, when I first started dating and then married Molly, I never, we had this conversation many times. She never wanted kids. Like, and I think we've talked about this briefly on other episodes, is that she was like, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. So I made a conscious decision to marry my wife knowing very well that she may not ever want children. So I felt it was my obligation as her husband to live up to that expectation, right? If I knew that going into my marriage, then I should respect that within my marriage. And I never really thought we were going to have kids.
Yeah, I think you're the same way. We didn't really ever talk about. I know we probably did, but I was just much more focused on me and Jess. That's it. Knowing that anything that came in the future, we would accomplish, talk about, and figure it out. But I don't think prior, my wife's from Canada, so when we met, and I was in Canada before I even decided for her to move and get married, we never even kind of talked. I mean, I don't even know if we talked about like, hey, do you want to have kids? I'm like, yeah, maybe someday. I don't know. You know, it was just not on our radar at that time.
Yeah.
I think more so is just the me and her was on the radar. And then as time went on, you know.
So how did you guys decide to have a kid?
I think just
Like what was it maybe? Maybe that's an easier question. Like what was it that prompted you to be like, let's do this?
I think we're always surrounded from friends to TV to social media of just what you should be doing, you know? But it didn't affect us, but I think it always does affect you. So I'm always open for every conversation. I advise everybody out there, if someone comes up in a relationship and to talk about, just talk about it. Don't shovel it on the rug. So if it came up, I would always, let's talk about it. Where we at? And we would always have a conversation of like, okay, cool, we're good. In 6 months, let's revisit it. So kids started to come up, and then it came up, I think, again in like a December, and we're like, all right, cool. Are you okay if this were to happen? Like, yeah. So then I think January or February, I don't even remember what month, we were just like, cool, you go off the pill, and if it happens, it happens.
Right.
We're just cool with it. If it happens, we're ready to embark on that, and we did, and then like a couple weeks later, she got pregnant.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's that Molly and I are very similar. Like it was not a thing, and then all of a sudden it was kind of a thing, and then it was like, well, if it happens, it happens, and then it happened, and I'm very thankful for that because I couldn't imagine being in a relationship where you had never thought about it, you had never talked about it, and all of a sudden it just happened.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of like, holy shit, like this is happening. And I think the beautiful thing about being pregnant is that it's 9 months to mentally prepare you. I think that is a reason. I think there's 9 months for human beings to have a kid to mentally, emotionally, physically prepare you for the birth of that child.
Whoever decided to have that happen, whoever you are,
right?
Up there, down there, over there, under there. Yeah, I think it's
and 9 months of designated driving. That was amazing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't really drink that much when
I didn't either.
When I did it.
I didn't either.
I think
but it was a good option.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it just goes to like how we're teammates, you know?
Right.
Like we just had a fun time and just I didn't drink at all. I ate a lot of ice cream and
ice cream's good.
And avocados, which is good.
So let's talk about some of the reasons, right, why people became a parent, right?
What are they? Give me a couple.
Yours was in this list. So this is an article from CNN Health, and they gave one reason was to fit in and meet society's expectations, and you kind of hit on that, like it's just kind of like the norm of what you do.
Yeah. It happens a lot. I mean, like you can't get around it not affecting you, but not whatever the word is into your brain. I mean, like we're just surrounded by it all the time, so it goes through my brain at some point, and then I don't choose by doing anything by that, but it does affect you a little way.
Right. Do you remember, have your parents ever told you why they decided to become parents? Have you ever asked them?
No, but that's a good question.
Oh, I've asked mine.
I mean, more so I think back then I would say, well, that's the thing to do. You get married, you have kids, and then blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Why did they say?
It's one of those things you just don't even want to admit.
What'd they say?
So,
what, they wanted like a
my
insurance
parents
tax break?
have told me multiple times, it might as well, right? My parents have told me multiple times that they observed other people with kids, and the reason they decided to have kids was because they knew they could raise kids better than other people.
For real, that's why.
Swear to God, I have been told that multiple times. There was no reason behind, like, well, we just wanted to grow our family, or we were excited. It was because they felt they could do a better job at raising people in today's society.
I'd have to dive deeper. It's like, did they have like a friend that like they deeply didn't like, but hung out with all the time, and just like, I need to prove them wrong. I need to show them that I'm going to be a better parent. Like there's a whole other world. I think you need to dive deeper into that,
dude.
Because I
hear that and I'm just like, whatever.
Here's the thing though. They did a great job. You and your sister, I haven't even met, but from what I hear is amazing. So it's like they did their task.
They did a great job.
They accomplished it.
And I'll tell you what, on this list, right, there is this reasoning. And that is to, in a different sense, be a better parent than I had. So it's almost kind of the same mentality, right? To do it better than somebody else did.
I think it wouldn't be a reason of why I'm going to have a child, but it definitely I think I would have to reword it in a way of like, because I always say like you learn. I think everybody above me that I've been involved with, I've learned from them of what not to do, but kind of what not to do, of like what I would do differently. So I would say I wouldn't have a child based on that. But once I have a child, as I do, I know now what to take from to utilize in raising Aria.
Right. So here's a few other things. So another one, and get your comments on it, to recreate my own childhood joys.
Yeah, that's the same category. I didn't have a child because of that, but now that I have one, I'm loving that I'm able to do that. aka Chuck E. Cheese, aka movie theaters all day, aka
Do you guys go to Chuck E. Cheese?
I'm
so afraid of
I
Chuck
have
E. Cheese.
not. I think they just went today. So growing up, I went to it was called Circus. My grandma knew the owner, so we got hookahs. I think I talked about.
What was it called?
Circus. It was,
Wait, not like the Vegas Hotel.
No,
Okay.
it was Chuck E. Cheese, just called differently. And I still haven't taken Aria to Chuck E. Cheese. My mom, aka her nana, 20 times already. And
I've taken her there.
Yeah, I haven't been with Aria, but 3 years ago, I went for my birthday.
You guys went to Chuck E.
just
Cheese
to go
for
have
your
pizza.
birthday?
Yeah, just like a part of the day, because that's what I remember. Like I was like, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese and have some pizza. And it's changed.
What was it like?
No, nothing. They changed all the video games, and they,
Yeah.
like it's skee ball's the only thing I liked,
Yeah.
and pizza was so. But I can't wait. I mean, like, so I wouldn't have a child for that reason to relive things, but I cannot wait to relive things. Now.
Right. Okay, so here's another one. Grow and share familial love.
Familia?
Familial.
What's familiar?
Like family. Like
I
family
thought you were trying to say familiar. I'm like
La familia.
familia. So these are reasons why you would have a child.
Yeah. These are legitimate reasons why people have children. They want to grow their family.
Yes, that's a big one. They want the name to live on.
Right.
They just
Here's
love
the reality. If I don't have a boy, the
your name.
Boyd name dies.
Really?
Within
so
my family.
Does that stick with you? Like, I want to have a boy because of that?
I think it sticks with my dad. I don't know if it sticks with me. If I have a boy, I have a boy, right? But the thing is my grandma had 4 boys.
Yeah.
Yet none of them have a boy that is going to move the family name on. And there's 3 boys besides me, so there's 4 of us that could move the Boyd family name on. But the other 3 are never going to get married and have kids.
But see,
I'm the only one.
This one falls in the category of, like, for me, I don't care. It means nothing to me, but we're so, like, not brainwashed, but kind of into, like, having the name on. What does that really mean or do?
Right.
Nothing. I want to, like, know that that person's going to be awesome and that person's going to live on and going to make an impact. It's not the name. It's going to be their first name that's going to make an impact more than their last name somehow, but the name doesn't mean anything to me. Hence, like, if... Like, I say family's family, but best friends are more of your family than your blood is sometimes, and they don't have your name. I mean, like, that's...
So your brother has a boy, right?
Yes.
So he has the chance to carry on the Gittler name,
Yeah.
right? And that would be the only one.
But that's it's I've never thought about it till now. It's like it's an old school kind of mentality of like
Right.
thinking of like, oh, don't you want like to think that way, to have another child based on just that? I think for me personally is just ridiculous.
Right. No, it's weird. But I'll be honest with you, I've thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about like, there might be no other Boyds in our family.
Because we're brought up that way, just
and
to
it's
think
been,
that way.
there's been Boyds all the way up to me. Think about that, like generations and generations.
But when you say
and generations.
you want the name to live on, so let's say you have 5 boys, right? And 5 boys, and then you have Mac.
Right.
But somehow Mac becomes president. Whose name is going to live on of the Boyd family?
Right.
Max.
Right.
And it's a girl. So it doesn't matter the name that it takes on. It's just something that how we're brought up. It's just like the topic of conversation when you have a child, like, you going to have another? It's the same kind of like category you throw it into.
Yeah. And you never know. Maybe when Mac gets married, that taking over the last name isn't even a thing anymore.
I can't tell you
It's
how
changing
many,
so much.
I DJ'd a wedding on Thursday. Bride and groom, happiest couple. Awesome couple. She didn't take his name.
Sam and Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron's last name is Charnow. Sam's is Stavis.
It's just a name.
Yeah.
It's just a
Right.
name.
And I think that's the way the world's going.
I hope it is.
Right.
Because, yeah.
So okay, here's another one. This is an interesting one. Add to a greater sense of life's purpose. So kind of within your own self, like you have more of a purpose now.
For if it's a personal,
That's why you would have a kid.
If it's a one person personal thing, like me, just me, and not Jess, let's say, I could see a little bit. But as we've all seen, when shit hits a family with couples and it's like, oh, we're gonna have a baby, it's gonna make it so
Right.
much better.
Marriage and babies. People think that getting married is going to make your relationship better, and then people think having a baby is going to make your relationship better.
I mean, I'm very. We'll back it up. If you think that way, you need to change your thinking ASAP. If you think marriage or a baby's going to make your life better, and that's what you're hoping to save you, you got to change your thinking. And if you hate me for saying it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you 99.9% of the people, once you do it, are like, what the fuck fuck was I thinking?
Right.
Like,
It makes it so much harder.
it makes it so much harder.
Oh yeah, it's insane how much harder it makes it.
Just going back to like other episodes of like, you think when you get married, it just changes the game and your life's over. No, but it's work, and having a baby is more work than you'll ever take on. But it's the work that I want to take on because I know the end outcome of putting that work into that.
Right. Okay, so this one I have a really difficult time with. So maybe you can explain it to me better from a different perspective. I don't know, but it's because kids are fun to hang out with and talk to. I don't. So I have literally talked to parents, like when I was a teacher. I have talked to parents that have said things like, "Well, they're my best friend," and their kid is 8. So I'm like, I don't get that. Like, number one, I don't ever want Mac to be my best friend. You can be my best friend all day long. Zach Gittler could be Brian Boyd's best friend, and I'm cool with that. But Mac, I'm going to tell you this right now. You ain't never going to be my best friend.
Until you're 25.
Right. Or we can go have a beer together.
Yeah.
21, cool.
I mean, I feel like the parents that say that are longing for something and missing something in their life. And if you say your 8-year-old's your best friend, what your 8-year-old is your biggest cheerleader because they don't know anything else to kind of like, and they're kind of feared into like, if I gotta agree in like everything maybe, but like, yeah, you gotta rethink a couple things in your life maybe.
Well, kids are fun to hang out with.
Sure.
Right? And they're great to talk to and be silly with, but I don't know if having a child for that reason.
No, that's just pointless. Take that off the list. Yeah.
I think you're setting yourself up and your kid up for failure.
Yeah. CNN.
Well, no, this is just research. This is just what they have found off research.
Oh, I see what
So
you
when
mean.
they've interviewed people, why did you
yeah.
have kids? This was one of the common things that they heard.
See,
and that's a scary thing.
I'd be curious, like the demographic, who they are, people, the vibe, and everything of who those kind of people were.
Right.
Because they're longing for something.
Right.
They're missing something deep in their life. Probably their kid is more of their friend than their husband, if it's a girl or guy, or vice versa. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it. I've heard multiple people say this. It's not like a uncommon thing. It's not like 1 out of every 50 people say this. I would say that it's much more common than that, which is scary.
I mean, you got other things going on.
I love Mac. Don't get me wrong. I love her all day long, but I got plenty of friends.
Yeah, she'll be like a different category of friend, you know, like, and then
Dude,
as
I
she gets,
love her.
I mean, my end
she's
game.
not a friend.
Yeah.
She's family.
Exactly.
Right? Like I love her to a point that I could never love you the way I love Mac.
For sure.
Right? You could never love me the way you love Aria. But I know. Can you believe I just did that? Aria. But I could never be a friend, I
Yeah.
don't think, with Mac the way I'm a friend with you.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that.
I think until later years.
Later's fine.
Later years, you know, like.
I think there is that cutoff.
I think that's what my end game is a big part of that because I see with Jess and her mom, like when they hang out because her mom's a lot younger, had Jess at 18. I think it's the coolest thing.
But I think you and your mom have an awesome relationship.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think she's taken the parent into the friendship level.
For
right?
sure. Hence, I mean, yeah, and that's what comes along with living with us. I mean,
Right.
anybody, I mean, if you're around someone 24/7, I mean, like, I thrive for that. I
Right.
thrive to, like, how can I push someone out of their bubble, make them a better person, try things they would never try because everybody's, like, brainwashed to being that person for the last 30 years of your life. I just don't think people know potential and what they have access to.
Yeah.
And I want to give that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more. This one's interesting. A spiritual call to action. So
Religious?
my interpretation is like
Religious.
right, like it's the Bible says, or whatever it is spiritually that you follow, is that our job on this earth is to
Reproduce. Yeah. But then
as humans.
dude, it's crazy. I saw a statistic, like in 10 years, the amount of people who are going to be on this world is ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, that's a whole other world of like religion and spiritual belief of like what you should do. But my take on that saying is just my religion, spiritual belief is what I believe. That's it. I can be influenced by every single religion. It's what I come down to deciding is correctly done by me. So if you follow something else because it was written in stone or what you believe, that's fine. But my belief is, you need to make that decision because it's a life-changing decision and you only have one, that it needs to be the right one, what you decide, not what a book wrote for you.
So there is statistical analysis that our population is growing by 1%, 1.1% per year.
So 1.1% per year. So like, what is that like in the millions? Is that what is that?
We're talking billions, bro.
Per year?
No. So hold on. Sorry. So in 1999, there were 6 billion people on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from the year 1800 to 1999, it took us, 200 years to get to 6 billion from 1 billion. So we grew 500 billion people in 200 years. They're projecting that in the next 88 years, from 1999 to 2088, we will grow another 6 billion. So we're literally cutting that in less than half.
Hence why they're like, let's go to Mars.
So they are saying that in 2088, we will have 11 billion people on this earth.
Dude, it's crazy.
Double what we have now.
So like I said, hence why they're going to Mars. We're going to build up into whatever it may be. And what's even crazier, and this is so going like side off topic, but like in regards to like robotics, like jobs are not going to be there for people unless you're super in whatever's going on in that area. It's scary, man.
I think what's going to happen is that countries are going to start limiting how many kids people can have.
No, I can agree. Because, I mean, hey, you know what? One of the reasons on here for tax breaks, because no joke, people, can work the system, this and that. And the more kids you have, the more end of the year, the tax breaks you get, the more money you get back, the more free healthcare you get if you fall under a certain bracket. I mean, like, that should be actually, that's more of a reason that people have kids than some of these that on this list, I think.
Dude, that's a great point. So I had families in Chicago when I was teaching in Chicago that were in low income areas, and they had I don't know this is a fact, but I would imagine they had kids because they got government funding.
If you have one more kid, you fall under the 3 dependents, this and I get it, like, I mean, there's a whole backstory behind everybody doing what they do. Not saying it's wrong, but it's like, that's a reason. I mean, it's sad to say that's a reason. It's a world that we live in that's messed up that is a reason.
So in 1979, China came out with a law that was called the Family Planning Policy. And what it did is that it only allowed families to have 1 child.
So how do you regulate that? Like, what happens if you have 2? What is the backlash? You get fined?
I don't know.
Your kid gets killed?
Oh, there you go. Provincial governments impose fines for violations, and the local and national governments created commissions to raise awareness and carry out registration and inspection work.
So what's the fine? And they're not going to kill your kid. So what do? I mean, like,
I don't know. It's crazy.
If you are pregnant and you go and they know you have a kid, your doctor has to report you as being a criminal in the baby making world, and then you have to go to a abortion clinic, or if you don't, you're fined. Like, what else?
It's going to have to.
What else will they do?
There's going to be something where our world just gets too populated. Like,
that's why they want to go to. That's why they want to go to Mars, and that's why they want to. An untapped
Thank God for Elon.
I know, right? But that's why. I mean, like, that's the underlying. That's the underlying reason, probably, because it's going to be overpopulated.
Well, I think about that, and I think one of the things for me, like, I do worry about, like, bringing someone into this world. Like, because I don't know what the world's going to be like in 50 years or 60 years. And then I know that they're going to want to bring somebody into this world. And I don't know what the world's going to be like. And I can't think about that, right? I can only think about...
I don't worry about it. If I were to worry about something, I would worry about teaching my child how she's going to make the world a better place.
Right.
So when this happens, she has the ability to influence and advise and just give back.
Right.
That's what it's going to happen. We're not big enough to make a change in that way. And some people are like, oh yeah, you are. I'm like, come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
at all big enough to do anything, but I am in my child's eyes as I grow her.
Yeah, and I think everybody, what we really wanted to hit on with this conversation was, before you have kids, it's probably a really great conversation to have with your partner of why you want to have a child. Like really just dive in. Why do I want to have a kid? And then live up to that expectation, because once you have a child, your life gets just flip-flopped into a world that you have no understanding of what it could be like or what it is like.
There's no going back once you have one. So
Right.
I would always advise, as I said earlier, is like if anything ever comes in conversation with a child, it's totally different than talking about like getting married. It's not even the same like atmosphere. But if it ever comes up, you have a real talk about it. Spend some time and just keep discussing. And then when it comes to a halt, be like, cool, are we good? All right, in 3 months, let's revisit it. When
Right.
it comes up, let's revisit it. And you keep revisiting, you keep doing it, and then you're like, okay, cool, I'm ready. I think we're ready. Are you ready? You're never going to be ready, but you're going to be as ready as you can be, and then you pull the trigger, just like any other situation. Just like a move to a different state. You're never going to be ready. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be ways of figuring it out as you go along. But as long as you're like as ready as you can be, then you're ready. That's what I would say.
And I think a great point to that is find people that if you're around their kids or you're around them and their kids, and you're like, wow, that kid was really good. Or that was a great example of parenting. Surround yourself with those parents and ask them, what do you do to be that amazing parent? Or why did you have kids? Find out their purpose, and maybe it's going to give you some more insight. It's like with business, right? I know that the more people I surround myself that are successful in business, the more successful I'm going to become, because I'm going to learn from them and their mistakes or the things that they're doing that are working great.
Yeah, that's just like a religion for me, in that realm of who you surround yourself with. But yes, same route. Anybody I ever come in contact with, clients, friends, I will ask the other 5 questions that no one will ever ask, but I don't care. Like, I will just ask, like, how did you ground your kid? How did you, do this to your kid? Like, I just want to know. I'm not going to necessarily do it, but what I always say, I'm writing my own book. I'm researching for my own book. I will only take certain pieces I want, and I will implement that into my book. Yeah. And I agree 100% with that.
I love it. So if you have any other reasons why you have become a parent, we'd love to hear about them. We'd love for you to share it with us, because that would be amazing to hear and just have a discussion about, and maybe we could bring some of them up in a future episode. But think about that. When you are ready to become a parent, or when you are a parent, thinking back on, why did I become a parent? Because maybe you will think differently when you have that second child or the third child, whatever. But thanks for hanging out with us today, you guys. Why do you become a parent? That's our topic for today. My name is Brian Boyd.
And I'm Zach Gittler. And we are 2 dads on a mic.
And we out.